Today I'm breaking down the symptoms of mold sickness that often doctors miss, that inspectors overlook, and that keep you sick while everyone tells you everything looks normal, and sometimes you even think so. Now, if you've been dismissed or your blood work looks perfect but you feel terrible, this could be the answer you've been searching for. The early warning signs everyone ignores. These are the symptoms that show up first, and they are so subtle most people brush them off. Brain zaps. Sharp, sudden pain in your head that feels electric, like someone just zapped you on the inside. Or subtle fatigue that comes out of nowhere and doesn't improve with rest. You sleep 8 hours and you wake up exhausted. That scratchy throat and hoarseness that appears and disappears randomly. One day you're fine, the next day you sound like you've been screaming at a concert. You feel flush but have no fever. Random headaches or migraines. Pressure behind your eyes that makes you want to close them and hide in a dark room. Now here's why this happens. Mold releases mycotoxins before you ever see it. These toxic byproducts start inflaming your system immediately. Your body is trying to tell you something is wrong, but the symptoms, they're so vague that even you don't take them seriously. I remember when this started happening to me in my mid-20s, I kept thinking I was just stressed, or maybe I wasn't sleeping well enough or eating right. But looking back now, those were the first warning signs. According to research, mold releases mycotoxins and airborne spores that irritate the central nervous system and trigger inflammation in the brain. This isn't just feeling off, it's your body under attack. So what this means for you, if you're experiencing multiple minor symptoms that don't make sense together and your environment is probably the problem, it's not your body. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. When your brain starts fighting back. This is where mold sickness gets scary and where doctors start missing the connection completely. Brain fog so thick you can't think clearly. You walk into a room and you forget why you're there. Trouble finding words mid-sentence. You're talking to somebody and suddenly the words just vanish from your mind. Gosh, this happens. Memory slips where you just can't recall things that should be automatic. What did I eat for breakfast? Did I lock the door? Where did I put my keys like 5 minutes ago? Dizziness, feeling off balance like the ground is shifting under your feet. Anxiety or mood swings that really make no sense. You're snapping at your kids over nothing, crying at commercials, or feeling panicked for no reason. And sleep disruption, that's horrible. You can't fall asleep. You stay asleep or you're waking up drenched in night sweats. Now, research shows that mycotoxins cross the blood-brain barrier and they trigger inflammation directly in your brain tissues. This isn't in your head. It's literally affecting your head. I've heard about this happen to so many people. They go to their doctor complaining about brain fog and anxiety, and they walk out with a prescription for antidepressants. But the real problem is in their home. It's not in their head. One woman told me that she thought she was developing early onset dementia at 42. She couldn't remember her appointments, couldn't focus at work, couldn't even follow a recipe that she'd made 100 times before. Well, it turns out there was mold growing behind the drywall in her bedroom that she'd been breathing in every single night for 2 years. Once we found it and she moved out during the remediation, her symptoms started improving within weeks. What this means for you, if you're being told your cognitive symptoms are stress or anxiety, but they started suddenly or they got worse after moving into a new home, mold could be the real culprit. Don't let anyone gaslight you into thinking this is normal aging or just stress. Your body is telling you something. The respiratory red flags that doctors often miss. I call this the air hunger, and it's one of the most terrifying symptoms because it feels like you are literally suffocating. You feel like you can't get a deep breath no matter how hard you try. You're gasping, trying to fill your lungs, but it never feels like enough. Persistent stuffy nose when you don't have seasonal allergies, and you're constantly reaching for tissues, constantly congested, and allergy medicine doesn't even touch it. A dry cough that just won't go away. It's not productive. It's just kind of annoying. It's like a tickle in your throat and you cough and you cough. And here's another big one, sudden sensitivity to fragrances, chemicals, and perfumes. That was huge for me. This was one of my first warning signs in my early 20s. I used to love candles, I loved perfume, Then suddenly walking through the candle aisle at Target made me feel like I couldn't even breathe. My favorite perfume, it gave me instant headaches. I thought I was just developing allergies. I really had no idea my body was already overwhelmed by mold exposure and couldn't handle any additional irritants. Now here's why this happens. Mold inflames your airways and it makes your respiratory system hypersensitive. Your body starts reacting to everything because it's already under attack. Now, according to experts, shortness of breath and wheezing are common symptoms of mold exposure caused by airway inflammation and then tightness in the chest. Now, what this means for you, if you're suddenly unable to tolerate scents or even eat food that you used to love, or if you're constantly feeling like you need more air, your home's air quality needs immediate attention. This isn't something to ignore or just kind of push it through. Your lungs are trying to tell you they are in distress. Your immune system's desperate SOS signals. When mold overwhelms your immune system, your body starts attacking everything, including itself. Unexplained joint pain and muscle aches. You wake up feeling like you ran a marathon in your sleep. New food sensitivities that seem to appear just like overnight. And suddenly you can't eat dairy or gluten or eggs, just food you've eaten your whole life without issues. I used to have tons of these. I couldn't figure out why my body was rejecting everything I ate, literally. Skin rashes and itching with no clear cause. You're scratching constantly, breaking out in hives, and dermatologists can't figure out why. Weird reactions to medications and supplements. Now for me, things that should help would wire me, would like give me horrible headaches or make it impossible to sleep. Magnesium, which is supposed to be calming, would trigger a throbbing headache, waking me up in the middle of the night. Frequent infections that are slow to heal. You're constantly getting sick, and when you do, it takes a long time to recover. The science, it says mold exposure triggers something called chronic inflammatory response syndrome, or CIRS. C-I-R-S. Your immune system gets stuck in overdrive, attacking threats that aren't really there or missing the real problem. It's like your body's alarm system is broken and going off constantly, even when there's no intruder. What this means for you, if you're suddenly reacting to food, supplements, or medications you used to tolerate just fine, mold may be overwhelming your system and your ability to cope. Your immune system has limited capacity. When it's already fighting mold toxins 24/7, it doesn't have the resources left to handle anything else. The master disguise when mold mimics other conditions. This is why so many people suffer for years without answers. Mold perfectly mimics conditions doctors are trained to treat. Symptoms that look like chronic fatigue, which is really just medical speak for we don't know what's wrong with you. Symptoms that look like anxiety or depression, you're put on SSRIs and you're sent to therapy, but nothing changes because the problem isn't in your brain chemistry, it's in your air quality. And well, the mold is actually impacting your brain chemistry. So symptoms that look like autoimmune flare-ups, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's, all of these things can be triggered or worsened by mold exposure. Hormonal imbalances, your periods are irregular, your thyroid is off, you're gaining weight for no reason. Thyroid problems, gosh, yeah, so many women are diagnosed with hypothyroidism when the real issue is mold disrupting their endocrine system. Now here's the kicker. You can treat all of these conditions all day long, but if mold is the root cause, you are never gonna get better. You're treating the symptom, not the source. It's like bailing water out of a sinking boat without plugging the hole. You can bail as fast as you want, but you're still going to sink. It's proven mold exposure disrupts immune function and triggers chronic inflammation, which can manifest as dozens of different conditions depending on your individual vulnerabilities. Now, what this means for you specifically, if you've been diagnosed with multiple conditions or if treatments aren't working like they should, the problem might not be your body's system, it might be your environment. If you're recognizing yourself in any of these symptoms, I want to help you get answers, real answers. We offer professional canine mold detection services using specially trained canines that can find hidden toxic mold that traditional inspections often miss. These dogs can detect mold at concentrations 10,000 times lower than any machine, finding it behind walls, under floors, HVAC systems, anywhere it's hiding. Click the link in the description to schedule your detection. Do not wait until it's too late. The biggest warning sign nobody tells you about. This is the clue that should make every doctor immediately suspect environmental mycotoxins, but most never even make the connection. They are not taught to think like this. When multiple people in the same house have different symptoms, one person has fatigue, another has migraines, a child has skin issues or sudden behavioral outbursts, random crazy behavior that just doesn't make sense. This is huge. When a family has seemingly unrelated health problems, it's not a coincidence. It's a massive clue that the environment is the problem, not the people. Think about it. If you all had the flu, you'd all have the flu symptoms. But mold affects everyone differently based on their individual vulnerabilities. Maybe you have a genetic predisposition to neurological inflammation, so you get brain fog and headaches. Your husband's weak point, maybe it's his respiratory system, so he gets a chronic cough. Your daughter's immune system is still developing, so she gets the skin rashes and behavioral issues. Same source, different symptoms. I've seen families where the mom is being treated for anxiety, the dad is being treated for chronic sinusitis, and the kids are in behavioral therapy, and nobody connects the dots that they all got sick around the same time, right after they moved into their dream home. So what this means for you, if your family members are all struggling with different health issues that started around the same time or got worse after moving, your home environment needs to be investigated thoroughly, ASAP. This is your body's way of screaming that something is wrong inside where you're living. Why traditional testing fails. I've had 2 mold inspectors tell me that my house was fine, 2 separate occasions. Our patients hear this all the time. Now here's why they're wrong. Traditional mold testing often misses the source completely. Inspectors use their mechanical tools and their training, but mold hides behind walls, under floors, in HVAC systems, and where they can't see or reach. They do air sampling, which can only capture what's floating in the air at that exact moment. But if a mold is sealed behind drywall, it's not going to show up in an air sample. They do visual inspections, but you can't see through walls. The hidden truth here, mold can be releasing toxins and making you sick long before it's detectable by conventional methods. Mold spores are invisible to the naked eye, and mold exposure can mimic common colds and many other conditions, making it incredibly difficult to diagnose. That's why we got a mold dog to help me and our patients, and it really works. Properly trained canines can detect mold at the source, even when it's completely hidden. They don't need to see it. They can smell it through walls, under floors, and anywhere it's hiding. Their noses are 10,000 times more sensitive than any machine we have. They can detect mold at concentrations that wouldn't even register on traditional testing equipment. I have seen it happen over and over again. The traditional inspector says the house is fine. We bring in our detection dog. The dog alerts to a specific area. The client opens up the wall and there it is, massive mold growth, and it's been there for years, or it could even be recent. Now, what this means for you, if you've been told that your house is fine, but you're still sick, you need detection methods that can find what traditional inspections miss. Do not let anyone tell you it's all in your head. Trust your body, trust your instincts. If you're treating symptoms and not getting better, if your doctors can't figure it out and you look great on paper but you feel terrible, it might not be your body, it might be your environment. The symptoms I've shared today are not random health problems. They're your body's way of screaming, something is wrong in your environment and something's poisoning you. But here's where I want you to understand. Once you identify and remove the source, your body can start to heal. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. People who've been sick for years, who've spent tens of thousands of dollars on treatments, finally getting their lives back once they find and they remove the hidden mold. You don't have to live like this. Trust me, I know. Now that you know what symptoms to watch for, you need to know exactly how to find hidden mold in your home. Even when inspectors say everything is fine, that your air is clean, there's nothing to worry about, because every day you wait is another day your health is at risk. Don't let hidden mold harm you.